All right. Is this the second one for this character, or did we do another one for another character?
It's the second one for this character. I was the one who was like not sure if I wanted to like actually main Kanna, and like I was gonna use the Terra Burn back in Neo to make you know, some other characters and like mess around. I settled on a Ho Young. It's been going really well. It's almost 230, but I'm just following like in the footsteps, you know. It's a pretty solid path, kind of, to some degree, right? Like there's some leeways, but
yeah, it's you have some exceptions with this one because of the compensation stuff you had, right? So if you were going to main this,
exactly.
then you hold on to some stuff a bit longer, and then you'll probably be able to, you'll probably kind of be forced to set some extra steps a little bit earlier on the Ho Young because you don't have these temp gears that can kind of carry you over, so you can kind of skip an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a little easier though on the Ho Young just because, you know, it's actually a bossing class. And for whatever reason, I'm like a little flip-flopped right now. You know, I'm trying to do like all the solo progression on the Kanna sort of thing.
Okay.
And then I'm doing like parties with the Ho Young. So
okay.
A little backwards, but
yeah, a little backwards compared to where people would usually do, probably. Yeah.
No, but it is what it is right now. It'll swap eventually, I think, but it's not yet.
I mean, yeah, if you're in a party with a Kanna for a while, and then, you know, maybe you have two Kannas or you have a room, and then you want to get your, you want to get some stuff on your Ho Young, then you can switch it out. I think that's how it works sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, I just, you know, I sort of subscribe to the, like, you know, if you want to like experience the game, right? Like, I think solo is, you know, a decent way to go. Like, it's a fun way to do it, but I feel like I'm kind of hitting a point where solo progression feels really hard, and I'm not even sure like if I should be shooting for Lucid, like normal Lucid, or if I should be shooting for like hard Lotus Damien next, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, and it feels like that next like step is, you know, really far, which, like, you know, I expected, just not to this extent, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. The jump in general to hard
here.
Damien is much further because he's like gone a lot, right? He's just untargetable a lot, and that being able to kill him like solo within the time frame, you actually need a lot of damage because you need to overcome. Lotus is more of a mechanics check and a little bit of a kit check on, like, if you have dark side, if you have a bunch of iframes, it's actually kind of not easy, but like way more doable earlier on. Like if you're Arc, if you're Dual Blade, those kind of classes. Yeah, it's a bit of a kit check and a bit of a just practice check, but you can do it much faster because Lotus is hittable more. It's only like during the purple balls in phase 3, and that's pretty much it. The phase 1 and also the phase 2 become pretty fast, and it's more like just get to phase 3 as fast as possible, make sure you have all of your lives left, and then, you know, just kind of throw bodies at phase 3 until it's done. Wait for your burst, and then burst, you know. So usually, I mean, that's definitely after normal Lotus though, but that's usually around the time where people start doing like hard Lucid parties, then they can also start doing those other parties. And usually it's like the same party that just wants to upgrade and see if there's a chance that they get some Berserker and some eye patches together.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, the next week, or, you know, hopefully in a few days, if you get the patch notes and everything, the final damage change should definitely allow for more solo scaling further into the game.
Right,
so,
yeah. Kanna, 0% final damage. Great. Somehow.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, you actually have a lot on Kanna, but you just, your base is like 0, but then
the domain, yeah.
You're in a party, then Haku gives you final damage, and then you have domain, and then you have the Empress Blessing as well, which all of that combined, you actually end up with quite a lot of final damage.
Okay.
That's why you actually become quite big bursts character, because you scale well, because you have a lot of final damage, so that's actually, that makes it doable on the Kanna to actually also just be a solo mage that does things. But yeah, definitely if you're setting up, especially with the boost nodes and everything, you're setting up more to being like a training character and then a little bit more of a support when bossing. It takes a while to turn that around. You know, you want to get your what's the doppelganger and the Vanquisher Charm. You want to get both of those also boosted with boost nodes, because those are basically like a lot of your burst damage. And then yeah, some people turn around their inner ability, go for that crit rate, go for that boss damage, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'm not to that point yet.
Yeah,
I'll keep the Mesa for now.
Yeah, Mesa with some drop. That's always good value for sure. So where are you at with this guy? What have you cleared? What are you trying to get to?
Yeah, so I managed to solo Lotus and Damien a few weeks ago. So we just finished upgrading full Abzo. And you know, I'd like to start Lucid pretty soon. I'm like on the fence. I'm like, should I just join like a normal Lucid party, right? Like, is that like where I'm at now? Am I caving?
Have you tried solo? Easy, I mean?
Yeah, I went into easy. And I kind of I got to like phase 2 and I just like ran out of time, sort of thing. It's like blind running it, but
yeah, there's maybe some optimization that you can do. But well, I guess we'll go through everything and see if there's any like major things you're overlooking. But
is easy Lucid supposed to be like in my range though? Like it's not on like the progression milestones, I don't think. So
it's on the dailies. It's just before normal Lucid basically. It's just one step below, honestly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like it's basically the only thing in between like Lotus and Damien and normal Lucid. Cause you kind of run out of bosses there to throw in between. You just go to the big ones. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. Like if you're in a party for a while that has been running normal, people around this point, if you have strong carries and you know your party knows what they're doing, you might already be moving towards hard Lucid.
Oh really?
Yeah, and then normal will is typically what if it's like your only character, right, and like your full main and you're throwing all of your money into one character. If everyone else in your party does do that, and they've been doing normal for a while, then hard would be the next one.
I see. Interesting. It might be time to find some people then.
Yeah.
I thought MapleStory was a solo game.
You can play it solo if you want, but then you're gonna have to like overpower with levels. You want to get more hyperstats. You want to get more matrix slots to be able to access all the skills, right? And you're gonna have to overfund because you're gonna have to compensate for the fact that you're alone in there.
Gotcha.
So that's possible.
I thought I was already fairly over level for Lucid.
For sure.
I think
but
every
like
level though obviously is more.
I could see your gear, but like for a lot of classes, Lucid just has a lot of HP, dude. Like you need to get through all those bars, and then you get to phase 2, and then you need to get through all those bars again.
Right. I was gonna actually ask about setting up BA. So I need to buy the dummy from Dojo.
Yep.
Is there anything else you use Dojo points for? Like I hear people tell me I should run Dojo, but I don't actually know what I'm supposed to spend it on. Because there's no way I'm hitting like top 3 ranking. So it's not like
no, you want to get the top 30%, I think, to get points on Monday, or top 70%, right? Yeah. And then based on your floors, usually for spirit pendants, you can buy 3-day spirit pendants in there. That's pretty useful if you want to do training sessions. And if you kind of look at the calendar at the Fairy Bros, and then you can look at being able to buy the 3-day or anywhere between Monday and Sunday, right? You can almost get full coverage of like let's say that you like I don't know, the end of the month here. Like if you buy it here on like the end of the week, right? And then you have 2 days. Then you get the new one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you do the dojo again. Right, it's a little bit unfortunate, I guess. Then you have a gap here, right? So there could be an idea where, you have this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You buy it, depending on which day of the week it is, but you can usually kind of go through it that you only have like 2 or 3 days in a month where you don't have a spirit pendant. And they do cost a bit. Some people go for the Mugong Souls, but that's like pretty specific. And you can also get honor experience a little bit if that helps boosting a little bit the income, because that can be limited early on.
Gotcha. Okay. But mostly for like spirit pendant, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's like 20-30%, right? XP fully charged or something?
Yeah, it starts with 10 and then goes up to 30%, yeah.
Well, it's not nothing, I guess. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it adds up for sure. It definitely adds up. If you're farming, of course, people don't do it because then you level faster and you're losing an accessory with a line. So It's usually people don't do that, but if you're trying to train and you're trying to level, it's definitely very valuable. I mean, it's like having level 3 burn extra in your map, essentially.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Gotcha.
And you definitely get to the point where you're kind of expected to, like, the balancing of how quickly you can level is kind of balanced around being able to have everything, right? That's why if you were a character that's a completely fresh account, you're weak, but you can still do stuff, but you're weak. But that's because they have to balance for, once you have everything, you shouldn't have to, I mean, you shouldn't be able to just like one button kill everything, right? So it's kind of balanced towards, if you're super, super strong, how difficult are things then? And that means that if you scale it down to not using everything, that it's going to be disproportionately slow.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess kind of on a related note, Legion coupons, I'm like just barely able to like buy out like the Mesa ones. Like, and I'm already at like, I'm pushing 5.5k soon, probably with Lara.
Yeah, that's a big upgrade, right? You get 5 extra characters in there, so that's significant.
Oh, wait. So it scales really hard at the end then. Okay, I was gonna ask like, you know, how much further do I need to go to like be able to buy like, you know, the other coupons out too?
Yeah, it's at 3k, at 5.5, then at 8k, you get to put 5 extra characters in instead of 1. So that's a big bump for you, because that's going to increase your raid power by quite a bit.
I see. Okay.
So the main thing is the level of the characters that you put in. That's the main determinant to how big your raid power is. So if you can squeeze out any levels on characters that are on the board but are still pretty low level, that's where you can disproportionately make the best gains in raid power.
Okay. So raid power is also not non-linear.
Yeah, it gets, well, so your raid power depends on your star force and on your level of the characters that you put in, with level being way more important than star force. And star force kind of scales with every increment of 60, like it increases the value of all the existing star force. It's like a 60, 120, 180, and then 240. Or maybe at 230 or something. Like, it doesn't scale completely linearly. It like goes a little bit down. But in the beginning, levels are just way more efficient. So since you have like the Demon Avenger, the Bishop, right, that are like sub 130 in there, if you can get more levels on those, that'll disproportionately impact your raid power by quite a bit. But definitely on the next 5 characters that are going to be in once you hit 5.5, make sure that those are some high level characters as well, so you can squeeze out some extra raid power there. Because yeah, the coin income is definitely an important one. But I bet you're saving now for the purchase for the 5.5, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely not at like 12 coins right now. Yeah.
I forgot about that a little bit. Oh,
yeah.
man.
You can talk to NPC and see how much it's going to be, so that you can like set aside that much, so you can get that upgrade immediately. Because I don't know.
It's only 500 coins. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
It should only be like, what is that, 2 or 3 days of saving?
Yeah, it's like 3 days.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the sooner you get that upgrade, the sooner you get the characters in, and it's 5 extra characters that cover like 3, so it's 15 extra grid covered, right? So you can almost completely do the critical damage or something like that. Well, we'll get into the numbers and everything in a bit, but yeah, and the balance. But yeah, so for Legion, that's going to be quite a big jump in the short term there. And then it's mainly going to be the level. So, if there's events or coupons or, there's just the characters that are the most important. Make sure your prioritization is good for Legion. Yeah, you want to do a combination, like a little bit of the combination of the raid power and also of stats that help you out, right?
Right. Yeah, I've kind of been following the Legion Excel sheet that you have. Sometimes I skip if I decide I want to Terror Burn a character instead.
Yep.
Or if I find one that I think just looks fun, I'll skip around.
You don't have a jet right now, do you?
No, that's next.
Okay.
The Terror Burn. Next time there's a Terror Burn, I'm Terror Burning Jet.
I heard from a lot of people that Jet is actually really fast and fun now, even without Terror Burn.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, apparently
give it a go.
Mobbing early on apparently is way better, and you zoom across the map and is way stronger. From what I heard, a lot of people said that it's really easy now, and that Terror Burn would probably have more value on some other characters. Typically on Explorers tend to be a little bit more rough to get to 200, and then they really pop off with 5th job. But until then, they tend to be a little bit, Yeah, a little bit unlikable.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading chat, and I started the mechanic, and I was having a lot of fun actually. And then I hit like the 160 zone, and it hurts now.
Oh, you're
But,
160?
you know.
Oh, did I miss?
Or it's 180 now, or I'm pushing 190 almost soon with the.
Oh,
I haven't done anything
with the mech.
XP
You mean,
pouch.
yeah.
Yeah, mech. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's really close. But it's like it's looking like it. Did it get leveled up with events?
It got leveled up with Night Troop.
Right. Oh yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
using the level 110 gun, so that's probably a little bit of potential loss there.
Yeah, it was just a really good flame.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's a pretty sicko flame.
Yeah, it could be better than some some bad penciler drops for sure.
Yeah.
Every character hurts past 160. Well, that's because people tend to not really fund their characters. They think they can just get the levels for free, and the game doesn't really work like that. You do have to, if you want to make the jump to 200, you're gonna have to invest some money. But you're still at the point where you can get some easy, at least compared to this screenshot. I don't know how many characters have you added since this.
This is pretty recent, I think.
Yeah, because it says 34 here, so you'd have like 6 more characters that can count, right, towards your Legion.
Yeah, I do it. Yeah. I took it yesterday. So yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have 3 more levels somehow, but it's yeah.
Oh yeah, some Zakub here, and then the level up potion
Yeah.
here, and the daily there, yeah, and then before you know it, the numbers just keep going up. But yeah, 6 more characters. So if you get like even just 6 more level 100s, then that's 6K, right? And then that's full board. With Lara and everything. And 6K is very juicy, of course. You get to have access to the entire board, but then 8K, because of that last jump, 7.5 to 8, is also another 5 characters, and they're all going to be level 200 characters, right? So that's going to be 20 squares that you fill. That's half of one of those outer grids, so that's typically still worth the scaling, and then past 8K, it's like worth nothing, because it's just one character, and you have to get levels on top of level 200s, 500 of them, just to get one extra character on the board. Definitely not, like, from an efficiency standpoint, definitely not worth it. But 6K is a very good point to get to, and that's usually I think a solid foundation to be like being able to start hard Lucid and normal will, and then maybe hard will once everyone gets to 250 or a little bit beyond.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna double check the will level actually. So cool.
Yeah, he's level 250, so typically you don't want to level him too low, and you need time as well to get the arcane power. If you want to do the full bonus damage, you need 1140. So that's typically why people take a while to do dailies in the areas and level a bit more before they feel like they're ready, which is probably a good thing. So when your normal Lucid party is basically starting to get past 245, everyone is getting a lot stronger, and then is getting towards trying to try hard Lucid. That's usually when people try to normal will as well, and then once everyone's settled pretty close to 250, or basically when you can do normal will like half blindfolded and you're not even using your moonlight half the time and you're just rushing through it, then you can start trying hard will basically.
I see. Okay. So will is like a step past Lucid.
Yeah, because of the level and because of the arcane power, it just mathematically you just end up waiting longer. Yeah. And it's also much more of a mechanics check, where Lucid is way more of a damage check. Lucid, you can just blow it up and just blow through it once you're strong enough. For hard will, you still have to wait for the checks, you still have to wait for the tests, and you have to do them properly, or you set yourself back 2 minutes the whole time. And that's why you need to practice normal for a bit first, to make sure that everyone gets the mechanics down completely. Because then for hard will, the mechanics are essentially the same, but a bunch of the stuff hits harder. But the main thing is that you regenerate moonlight way slower. So if you are not used to normal will, and not used to, when you need to use moonlight and only using it when it's really necessary, then for hard will, it's going to be really, really rough, because you're going to have almost no moonlight, and, people are going to end up dying right before the test fail, an extra 2 minutes, wait even longer, not being able to switch properly, HP bars equalizing out, and then phase 1 can actually get really rough. And then phase 2, people are going to start dying out because they already lost lives on phase 1, and then so you really need to feel like you're completely in control of the mechanics with normal before you move into hard, I think. Or it's going to be a really, really rough start.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, since we're on the topic of Legion, I guess, did you have any specific questions about anything?
I think I'm pretty okay on Legion. Yeah. I mean, you know, I didn't come with like zero prep, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done some stuff, yeah. Yeah, but a 5.5 should be a nice boost. And then, I mean, I bet you just add the pieces to like fill out what's already filled out, and then for 6K, kind of like redo it, because then you have the extra size on the side.
Yeah.
But that should
I'll run
probably
an optimizer probably once I hit 6K.
Yeah, it'll just be a bit easier, or like yeah, exactly. Well, we can kind of look at what would be the priorities, at that point. And whether you're soloing and running, I mean, yeah, and I guess Lynx is just an extension of that, right? I don't know if you have any questions specifically about Link skills.
I guess the only question I have is kind of Kanna specific, which is like, would I even run the Jet Link skill? Because from what I've like been reading, it sounds like a pain to do, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
I think it mainly depends on if you hit the crit in your inner ability, and then that frees up a slot, right, in your Link skills. Or that can free up a slot to hit 100% crit without needing all of the Link skills, and then that can make the Jet one, I think, enter the fray on... But IED at that point is also typically pretty valuable on Kanna, especially if you're soloing.
Right.
So you're looking at like 6 slots or something, like 3 crit, 3 IED ones. If that goes down, even if that goes down to 5, that's already half your slots, and then the other ones are all damage and survivability. Like you're not even using the Spirit of Freedom right now, right, in this setup, and you're not using the Night Watch either. I would always throw those in before like Keen Edge that I've seen here. Keen Edge just gets outscaled past the mid game hardcore. Because Keen Edge is basically like half of a Jet Link is how you want to see it. Like if you have a properly set up Jet Link, then it's like double Keen Edge. So it's great for like new low level characters. You just pop it in because a bunch of the utility they don't need anyway. You don't need any IED, you don't need any boss, barely need knockback resistance, you don't need Spirit of Freedom, and a bunch of the other skills like Noble Fire are really good when you're in a party, but not when you're soloing. So that's when Keen Edge is like nice. Then you just stack Cygnus Blessing, you stack Keen Edge, maybe even use the Pirate Blessing one. You know, you just stack stats and weapon attack and all that, and then flat damage, and then crit and crit damage. Well, crit damage first, of course, but like that's how you get to 12, and then you're good. And then the EXP ones, you know. But if you're going to be bossing like this, it's going to be mainly the crit and the IED that needs to be taken care of first, and then any utility. And then if you have anything left at that point, then you can throw in like the big damage dealers, like the Wild Rage, the Fury Unleashed, and the Solus. And then it's and then if you're at that point where you're really strong and you're very bursty, then the terms and condition comes in to make sure that when all that final damage is going on and you're using Vanquisher Charm, that you can really do and that big blue spirit circle, right, floating through the boss, that make sure that those do a whole lot of damage. And then I think when everything is maxed near the end of the domain, you can use a second Vanquisher Charm still in the domain, but I think the domain runs out just before the Vanquisher Charm is over, if I've got my timings correct. Yeah,
that sounds about right. I was actually going to ask a little bit on like how... So in other games I played, there's this concept of like snapshotting, right? Which is basically like, you know, when you activate the skill, that's when it like calcs its damage, right? So for like the blue circle, if I spawn one and I terms and conditions after it spawned, does it still get the damage amp?
I believe it checks on hit all the time, because there is a thing where if you send out a skill and you get sealed or blinded afterwards, then the lines miss.
I see. Okay.
So I believe, in every single hit, it looks at your specific damage at that very instant. That's how I understand that. Yeah.
Flag race, nice.
Yeah, just gets in there for those 10 points, AFK.
Yeah, I slept through GPQ for the second week in a row. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we had DCs in the main party, and then we didn't have enough characters left to activate the fourth boss.
Yeah, I woke up just in time to hear Noah malding.
Yeah, we got hard shafted there. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, so new GPQ boss, right? Is it gonna have like the same like defense and stuff? Like I think current one only has like 40% PDR or something. So
I believe so. I guess.
I assume we'll get more details in patch notes or something.
Yeah, exactly. Patch
Maybe?
notes should be up. Hopefully Tuesday you should be up, and then Wednesday when the game is down, we'll just go over everything. I don't know if that detail will be in there, but we'll definitely look it up. We can like look it up in Orange Mushroom and see if it's different.
I'll look forward to a YouTube video. Smile.
Yeah, not a 6-hour going over the patch note video.
Hey, it's something to watch during work, you know.
Yeah. Gotta do something to keep busy during work, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't be work or anything like that.
acing processes, you know, listening and working, two different things.
Yeah, multitasking. It's practicing your brain. Okay,
I guess,
so yeah.
While we're on patch notes, real quick.
Yeah.
So I know you don't like to talk about events and whatnot, but surely we're getting something soon, right? And since we didn't get 5, 10, 15, or 30% this last event, right? Surely we're getting something.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah. Oh, that was something I was going to mention as well. Like, if for the characters that are on the Legion grid, but you feel like they don't have all that much, Star Force, but your characters are like approaching levels where either you're just waiting for an event to push them forward, or they're already at 200, so you can't really do much, then it might be a good idea to throw up some Star Force, and then like the 1+1 event is then the ideal one that you're looking for. Try to get a little bit of equips on all of the characters before the event, and then just 1+1.
Up to 10 for them. I see.
Yeah, we're up to 12 even, right? Because then
12,
succeeding
right.
at 10 to 12. That's like a really good way to mass produce a whole lot of Star Force on a whole bunch of characters at the same time, for like the cheapest you ever can. So that should give you a really good jump in coin production.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually. You can probably push 120 pretty free.
Yeah. You
like,
need a little bit of the
Horntail?
accessories. Yeah, exactly. Like the Horntail accessories, the Zakum accessories. That's why I like doing Zakum up to 140, because you get so many clears in. Most of the characters get at least the 2 pieces, and then that's free Star Force for later for the Legion power. Is that what it is? Yeah, for the Legion raid power. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do a Horntail, but at that point you can also like exchange Horntail with other people, and then you can get your accessories pretty quickly when you see one of those events pop up. But yeah, I'm expecting like a 5, 10, 15 or 30% off, one of the two at least. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and a Black Friday keep sale. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that people were mentioning that. Yeah, typically at the end of the year we have that. I just always want to be careful not to say like that's definitely happening, but yeah, keep in mind that it definitely can.
Right. If it was gonna happen, right? It'd be soon.
Yeah, probably, because it's been very long since we had one, so,
yeah. I have a friend who started playing, like, last month with me. I'm trying to help him, like, get through this optimally. So, wanted to make sure I wasn't making any, like, empty promises.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll have to see the patch notes, but there's, I'd say there's a good chance, because we had one this year, I think. One cube sale, that's it. That's a little, on the skimpy side there. Okay, with Legion and links, that's all good?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any questions about the Matrix?
Actually, no, not really. Let's not get into it. The Matrix is a little icky right now, because I didn't realize I was the last slot I'm really looking for is Nine-Tailed Fury.
Yeah. I heard that. That's.
So I'm currently redoing some stuff in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's super important. I think it's more min-maxy. Like out of all the ones that are left, Nine-Tailed Fury is the best value, but it's not. I think it's fine if you have lower level nodes that you just take the skills that are the most important and boost those 3 times for a little bit until you hit until you go past 60, right? And then you start consolidating and then start looking for those. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The ones I'm double boost or triple boosting are at 58 now, though. So it's like
you're getting around that point.
Maybe time to reoptimize.
Yeah, but you just open nodes, right? And then the nodes that start with something that any of the 6 that you have, you just kind of hold on to them and see if there's the combination that you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts because there's so many skills. So sometimes you'd be like, oh, this one's just one off, and then like, okay, where do I get the other skill? Oh, I could just get it here, and then but then that one moves that away. So then I need this other one, and then you need to move like 4 skills around. But as long as you're just using the same boost node, then all of the EXP gets saved, so you'll be fine. But yeah, it might take a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's
it's
any...
not all the XP is saved, right? I lose like 20% or something.
No, if you throw a leveled up boost node into another one, then it's 100% saved. It's only when you disassemble them into shards that you lose efficiency now.
Oh.
Yeah, they changed it a while ago. You can just use whatever and full EXP goes in. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
cool, great.
Yeah, so you don't have to feel too bad about just leveling them up a little bit higher and then just worrying about it a little bit later. That's fine.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Then I only have to save like the perfect ones that could be the replacements then.
Exactly.
Right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll clean it up a little bit because I see you have a lot of them down there, so it'll clean a bit up. And you want to use any of the 6 that you start with as well, right? So I think it's also fine to get rid of the ones that start with Nine-Tailed Fury, because if you get that one, then you would have to extract the one that you have now, and then you lose efficiency there. Yeah, I think it's okay to extract up until like level 6 or 7 or something. That's fine, but I wouldn't really extract like upwards of like closer to 10 or up. I wouldn't do it because that's quite a big loss of efficiency.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
As for like board efficiency, Speed Infusion does help, but it's limited in utility. It's not as crazy good as a lot of other stuff is. I like Mana Overload a lot, especially for bossing if you're going to be mainly doing like bossing setup, because that's just 8% final damage at level 1.
Right.
That's
I
really
swap
good.
it in when I'm doing like regular bosses. I put Speed Infusion in for Golux mostly.
Yeah, yeah. If there's a specific boss where you feel like it makes a better difference, then sure, definitely go for it. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. And yeah, I guess, do you switch Holy Symbol out as well when you're doing it?
Not anymore. I used to when I felt like I needed the damage, but I'm clearing Lotus and Damien like pretty comfortably.
Okay.
So I just leave Holy Symbol in there for the drop rate. I don't know if they drop anything worth it, but you know, flames, cubes.
Yeah, it's soul shards. Yeah, that's mainly the only thing that you're looking for. And because well, if you're trying to do Lucid, right, you probably need the extra survivability. So I'm guessing Ethereal form probably will get a high priority there, right?
Okay.
Textar iframe. Do you know how it works?
Yeah. I used it for Vellum for a while.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Probably not anymore, but yeah, for something like Lucid, then having the extra iframe there, as well as the big Yaksha, as well as having using the shell appropriately at the right times, the barrier.
Right.
Yeah, with all of those things, and with Haku's Foxfire, the survivability should be decent. And the other skill, of course, that does a lot of damage just by itself is the Tour Arachnid Reflection. Is also a really, really strong skill.
Okay, even at base.
Even at base, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like the initial AoE thing is not as important, but like it's summoned for 40 seconds on a map that is like constantly hitting stuff. It helps you kill the golems faster if it targets that one. And it'll target Lucid the whole time because it's in the middle of the map. So yeah, it does a lot of damage. Yeah.
It's just nice uptime because she's always moving. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and especially in phase 1 because she's always in the same spot, right? So she's always in it.
Yeah. Okay. And then I guess just a quick question on like in terms of other like decent skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need any of the other ones?
Need is a strong word. Combat orders comes into play at some point. Probably, I think it's probably after the God, what is it called again? The Sengoku Strike, right? Sengoku Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sengoku Force.
Yeah, because there's a chance the Sengoku Force gives you a critical damage buff, one of them, which helps you in your burst a lot if you get that one. But it's RNG, right? Which ones you summon. But one of them gives critical damage buff, so that's really big. But for mobbing, it's also nice because it's just a bunch of summons running around the map, killing for a while, so that's always cool. And then it's probably gonna come in. If you need the survivability and you need the utility, then Blink can be useful as well, because you can have the up jump into the Blink, and that's how you can do Lucid as well, right? Like dodge the dragon into Orochi and just float in the air, basically until the dragon is gone, and then fall back down. Just hope that a golem didn't spawn right underneath where you're gonna land and then die to that. But you know, that's a that's a whole other story. Urda's Will comes into play much later. That's like when you're doing Tenebris bosses and stuff. That's when that comes in. The door you can definitely get rid of. And then eventually people go into Hyper Body as well, because 40% HP and MP, and you scale off of that quite nicely. So that's that can actually be a decent chunk. And then, yeah, Decent Advanced Blessing is like very, very, like if you're 270 plus 275 or something, you have so many slots you don't even know what to put in them. Then like Decent Advanced Blessing and like Rope Lift for the extra stat, and you know that's when that stuff comes in.
I see. Okay. So I should keep a Hyper Body next time I find one.
Yeah, you can just hold on to them and level them if you get them, but you know, I wouldn't like make them or anything, but yeah.
Right, for sure. I'm actually still making domains.
Yeah.
So sad, dude.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then probably if you're solo bossing, probably the next one would be the Sakuno's Blessing, right, for the other final damage hit there. Or I heard that the Yuki-onna is also really good, or I don't know if that's the full name, but like the Snow Yuki lady.
Yeah.
Because her uptime goes up as well, right, with leveling, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds right. I just remember you said that in one of the other Kanna sessions, and so I just threw it in the boosted slot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that takes us over. Snow Lady uptime is 45 out of 75. Yeah, it's if it's maxed, right? Like it's over 50% uptime, yeah.
Oh, the cooldown goes down too. Oh.
Yeah, it comes closer together. Yeah, same thing with Domain. Like it lasts longer and the cooldown goes down, so it's like a double whammy.
Very cool.
Really good value for your shards there. Yeah. Okay. Anything else for Matrix?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Cool. Well, you gotta know you're good now, okay? Because this is your moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see any.
I'll be back after Lucid will.
Yeah. I don't see any familiar stuff. How are you doing with those?
Oh, I guess I should have included that this time, but you know, I'm like dry, like 10 unique familiars for like anything good. So,
okay, so
I
you
hit one epic that's a 30% boss, but other than that, I'm hitting 15% IEDs.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just whatever.
Do you have 3 slots or 2 slots?
2 slots right now.
Mm-hmm. You close to 3 or?
I have 5 badges.
Mm-hmm.
So kinda not really.
Yeah, are you okay leveling them? So one of the big values about being able to go to 3 now is that if you get to train in Moonbridge, right? Because I think, what is it, LH6 or something is where Kannas go, I think?
Yeah, apparently. Moonbridge right now is giving me worse rates than the spider map in Asphera.
Yeah.
I think that might just be because I'm not used to it yet, so you know.
Might be. I think you also I think arcane power wise you might be just a bit too low to hit the damage spike there, right?
I'm actually just enough.
Is it 1090? Oh yeah, because you need like 1100 is the safe one, but like 1095 might be. Yeah, you need like, what did you need? Is it 1095? Is that the number you need?
I'm pretty sure it's exactly 1095.
Yeah, okay.
The last map is 730 or something, and then.
Because I'm guessing because of the extra HP on the monsters, maybe the Yosuzumes and stuff like that don't really kill as much. Maybe the summons need an extra hit. That can slow down the overall rates just enough to make a dent. And if you're now, you're also getting familiars and you're also getting droplets. So there's, as long as the looting is fine, there's no real downside on staying a little bit longer where you're at now. Yeah. But like as I was gonna say, like the main value of getting to 3 slots is that you can have 1 slot just be your regular drop rate familiar, and then the other 2 being like 2 familiars that you level at the same time.
It doubles the efficiency.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Even though going from 2 to 3
is really good with Lucid Soul. I see.
Okay, right. Cool. Yeah, because you have the extra summon. Yeah, that's why the Lucid runs can also be quite nice. You get the Lucid Soul in your weapon, and then have an extra summon. And then some people go really try hard with like a there's like a special skill that resets cooldowns every now and then some people go with cooldown chance to, or like seconds lower cooldown on the hat, right, on potential lines, to basically keep up the Lucid Soul at 100% uptime. Oh, wow. So that, yeah, that way you can reliably rotate the map with always having part of the map like cordoned off and sectioned off. Without it, you should stay at MTS, but with it, you go to, I see, okay. Okay, well,
okay, cool.
I learned something else as well, yeah. There you go.
I hate spiders though, dude.
Yeah, you were about done with those. How long have you been there?
Just not a bug guy, you know.
Yeah, oh, I see.
Just IRL, yeah.
Oh,
IRL,
don't call them bugs, dude. People are gonna be like, they're arachnids. Bugs, insects have 6 legs. Yeah.
They kill bugs, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, spider bros hanging out. I had one Mission Impossibling down 2 times in the same day, like in front of my face. Because I have like the stairs, the upstairs are like right above me, so he was like rappelling down from there, right in front of my camera, like twice. Because I caught him one time and I put him somewhere, and then he came down a second time.
Oh my gosh.
And then he just climbed up the wall, found another spot.
Going full Spider-Man on you, jeez.
Yeah, I found another spider and I thought it was dead, so I grabbed it. And as I grabbed it, it started crawling. I was like, oh shit, you weren't dead. Okay, never mind. You go hang out somewhere else then. But yeah, they get the little bugs, the insects. If they could just get mosquitoes, that would be grand, because I hate those things.
Yeah, for real.
Those things should all just die. Unironically. Get rid of mosquitoes. But yeah, to bring it back to your progression session here. So yeah, so familiar-wise, you know what you're doing. You're slow and steady. You got we got 130 boss, so that's nice for bossing. And then if you do 30 boss and you do 115 IED, is that like in this picture? Is that the IED you get to?
Yeah, I think so.
Because this is with the Ho Young, Link, and then with 10, 11, 10, 11. And you have 89 crit here, but it's without Sharp Eyes.
Yeah, this is clean, so no regular buffs. It has familiars though, I think.
Yeah, okay. So do you get to 100% crit, or you're like 99, but you're like really
99,
close?
yeah.
99, yeah. Yeah, so if you get like one of the badges that has 1% crit, do you have the Sphera badge? You have that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I already have the Sphera one. But 1%. One of the, I think the 250 one gives me 1% crit, or no, I'm looking at the Rebel badge.
Yeah, there's like a low level one in Edelstein, I think. Is that the one?
Yep, that's it. Yep, 1% crit.
Exactly, yeah. Because it's always so annoying. You have to put an extra level in your hyperstats that gives you 2%, and then you go over by 1. It's like, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
I really want to save those hyperstat points to go into something else. Which at this point, probably going into critical damage is probably fine. But how much is the next one? Is it 50 from 10 to 11?
Yeah, it's 50.
Yeah, it starts getting a bit expensive. And then the last one is like 100 and... Is it 150 for the last point? Yeah, it gets pretty steep.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, I could reset and put 1 more point into crit damage, because I have some in Arcane Force and EXP and stuff right now.
Yeah, I guess you don't need the arcane power if you're not going to go to Moonbridge yet anyway. But the other thing is that we have the hyperstat presets should be coming next week, which is really fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to have
nice.
Yeah. Hopefully that'll just be right in there the first week. So hopefully by Wednesday, well, probably Thursday, because who are we kidding? The game's not going to be up before Wednesday reset. But then we can have resets, so you can have 1 perfect preset for bossing, 1 perfect preset for mobbing, and then just switch between the 2. And switching is even going to be cheaper than the buying the resets now. So that's going to be a very nice quality of life improvement.
Yeah, for real.
Now we just need one of those for inner-abilities as well.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah, you have like a bossing and a mobbing inner-ability. That'd be fantastic. You can go like Mezzo and drop, or you could go full boss damage and whatever.
So good, dude.
Yeah. Now we get the roll for 20 crit twice.
Oh no.
Nah, people for mobbing, they'll just throw in like an extra link skill, and then for bossing, they'll go for the crit, optimize on the links, and go for boss damage or something like that. Yeah, it's fine, because there's very few link skills that really do a lot when you're mobbing. You kind of run out after like 9 or 10, and then the last 2 are kind of like just fillers that, you know, kind of like icing on the cake, but they don't really do all that much. So if you have to replace those with crit to compensate for rolling another 20-30 bill in circulators in your inner ability, then that would be worth it. But yeah, that's all kind of like wishful thinking anyway, but that would be cool if that would be the next thing, because they seem to be doing that more and more with the preset, so we can hope. Hopium. Cool. Yeah, so your ID is, for Kanna, ID is pretty much what you see is what you get, right? The only thing that's going up is if you have the Explorer Mage link and if you have your boost nodes, but that's pretty much it if you're soloing.
Yeah.
So if you're at 90 flat, that'll get you to close to 93. So you're a little bit over. So that should get you to 93, which is good enough, but is like on the lower end if you're going to be the only like fully soloing. So what IED do we have that you can still get?
I don't have anything in Legion right now. Because I haven't needed it for.
Yeah, because your emblem, right? Your emblem is holding.
Yeah, my emblem is
a
big chunk.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll roll that out at some point, but maybe I get real weapons first, you know?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
because like, technically that fan only has like one real line, you know? So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're mobbing, it's you know, the crit is cool. Oh, that's why you're at the crit that you are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you've got. Well, the second weapon doesn't give you the crit when you equip it as a Haku fan, right?
Right. Yeah. That fan was just so expensive though, so I just saw a 2-line magic attack and just kept it.
Yeah, for sure. That's fair. Yeah, but because of the IED, you're high enough without needing so you don't have the superior Golic set yet, right? That's
not yet.
That's the 30%, and then the 40% would be the full Legion grid. But then on top of that, if you when you need to go past, you still need a line on the emblem to be able to get to the comfortable number and get closer to like 95, 96 solo. If you want to do the harder bosses, or even in party at that point, you still need one line at least on your emblem as a Kanna.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, you're basically waiting for whichever comes first. Like if you can fill out your grid, or if you can fill out your that will probably be 8k, right? Before that, it's really hard. Or you have to get all of your link skills to level 3, and then you can systematically move away some pieces and start moving into IED. Or you get a big IED familiar, you know, like whatever comes there. But the big chunks will be like major Legion and link skill progression could make it so that you can reroll your emblem, or getting the superior Golic set, the full switch. That would also allow you to reroll your emblem into at least IED and magic attack combination.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
yeah, because that was one of the big questions I had in terms of gear, right? Is like, I think, you know, I'm going to be syncing up like the move to Sweetwater with the move to Golux. And then I think off of that, I would want to reroll the emblem as well then, right? So
yeah, whatever comes first, yeah. If your Legion and Links go far enough and you get a bunch of 210s, you get a bunch of stronger link skills, your crit comes from other sources, and maybe your critting your Legion board becomes more available, you can put more in IED, and maybe you get a 30% IED familiar. Maybe at that point that you also hit the threshold where you're like, okay, I can get rid of one line on the emblem. That could also be a thing. But yeah, the safest bet would be to get the superior Golix. That's a locked in 30. So
right,
yeah, 30 flat extra. But yeah, you're pretty much looking at your visual. Like you're only getting at this point you're only getting about 2.5 to 3% from your functional IED, and that's gonna go progressively down the higher you go. So now it's like 2.5%. So if you're at 95, then it's only like 1.2%. So that efficiency goes down quite a bit as you go up. But yeah, it could depend on party members if you're doing party bossing. But yeah, we're looking at for solo now, right? So you have to be a little bit more stringent there. And the other thing is also if you have the a little bit of set bonus. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you have the set bonus from the boss accessory set, so you also lose 10% there. Should also not forget about that.
Right, yeah.
For the 7 set bonus. But you still have the Monster Parker badge, I think, that you can get, right? Monster Parker medal, sorry?
Yeah, I can still get that.
Yeah, so that'll compensate for that 10%. So that's probably something also good to keep in mind to work on. The other main thing is the crit. So if you do end up switching the weapon, right, that leaves quite a big hole in crit, and you don't want to go full on crit board. So make sure that all of the crit sources are adequately addressed.
Right. Yeah, I can get like
yeah, you can more from your hyperstats.
Phantom and Beast Tamer and more stuff to go.
Yeah, and hyperstats will be fine too. You know, taking like 1 point out of boss damage, for example, and then the extra points you have and putting that into crit, it's gonna be like an easy 6% there as well to compensate. You can very easily get to 8 or to 9 there. So that's probably where you get some extra crit as well to compensate.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, just so we know, like ID and crit, that's like very, very important that those are set, and then when those are in place, then you can start looking at the other stuff. But That's definitely where the foundation is of all your damage that's coming out. Well, the other sets we already talked about, right? Like your symbols that's just going and your nodes, and we already talked about that. So as long as those are in place, then we're on the right track.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I guess it's like slightly like tangential here, right? It's like, when do I go for 2-line crit damage on the gloves?
On the gloves? It would depend a little. How are you looking for like droplets? Are you just waiting for a fan drop, or would you make one?
I could make one. I just need to start killing Lucid.
The Lucid clears, yeah.
I have plenty of the regular droplets because I've been playing on and off for a little bit, so I have a couple hundred just from event shops.
Oh yeah, true, yeah. And we have another 100 coming in the new event shop, and then 800 for sale. So
yeah,
shouldn't be wanting for those. Yeah, it's mainly the boss clears. Yeah, so it's going to be a good idea to get that started up. Well, that's the downside of like soloing, is that you'll get to the point where, since you have to like overfund, you'll get to the point where the bottleneck shifts from being the boss, from being the area drops to being the boss drops, or being waiting for an event to getting the clears in for the
actually,
boss. Yeah,
I guess also like leading to I'm like still waking up, but I had a lot of stuff, questions prepped for this. But I think the make or break for me, right, is that like I don't want to go too hard into Abzo, because I feel like Arcane is going to be so like readily available, right?
Yeah,
to some degree, right? Like, so I don't want to like go too far past. I definitely don't want to push it to 20, right?
No.
Like, if killing Lucid at 17-18 star Abzo is impossible, then I don't want to do it, right?
No, it's definitely possible, because you will push you can definitely push other things like 17 or even 18 Abzo, depending on how risk averse you are. I think is definitely fine. The only thing you would push beyond would be stuff like CRA, where you have way more backups.
Right,
and that's
and I'll be using CRA to the end game anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you have so many backups, so you don't even have to wait. You have to even consider safeguarding. So you just send them during an event, and it'll be very easy to get to 18, 19. And even like up to 21, and then that's basically where all the extra damage is going to come from. Boost nodes are going to keep leveling. Final damage change coming through. WSE, hopefully, like the Golex set bonus, that's a 30 boss and 30 IED, and that 30 IED is basically going to be traded on your emblem for a line of attack. So that's going to start scaling very well. Plus, it's going to be boss the boss pieces being gone and being replaced for Sweetwater, and for the superior stuff, you're going to go way harder on the stat there, because now it's probably still a little bit hybrid between like drop and meso as well. So there's going to be a lot of intellect added there. So it's definitely going to be enough for Lucid. It's not going to be like easy and not going to be like a 2-minute run, but it's definitely going to be doable. And then if you keep leveling other characters and keep going, get droplets. And then after the winter event, at least in KMS, what they did is they made the droplets permanently available for meso in the regular shop. So then you can just buy the droplets whenever you have enough for the boss. If you're impatient, or honestly, when you get to the point where you're clearing, normal Lucid yourself, the next step past normal Lucid is going to be so far away, because that's going to be hard Lucid and hard will, and normal will. That bridge, like if you want to do that solo, like sure, go for it. But I think that's probably that's going to be demoralizing with how long that's going to take, that last jump, I think. So
Okay.
I would definitely like look into a party, and for Lucid, you should very easily find a party, because you're Kanna and you have already all the mechanics and you know everything what you're doing. You just have to figure out the combinations for phase 3. Make sure that you time everything right for phase 3. Have you seen that before?
I've watched a lot of videos of Kanna soloing Lucid. So.
But and hard Lucid as well.
Not hard Lucid.
Okay.
Is it very different, phase 3?
Yeah, so phase 3, she basically just respawns in the second phase, like in the middle of the map, and she like radiates damage, and she's stuck there for about 40 seconds. That's why we do the 40-second BA. And then she has like 10 bars again and a certain amount of HP, and you have to get all of the bars down in that 40-second. If you fail in that phase 3, then the whole run is just a fail. So that's why you need enough burst, and why everyone needs their BAs and puts them together, just kind of check the numbers to see if you even have a fighting chance of killing it. Because if you can get to the end, like if you have high DPM classes that can get through phase 1 and phase 2 definitely like easily, but not super fast, you might just fall short on phase 3 if you don't have enough burst damage. And vice versa, if you have a very, very bursty team, it might take too long in between bursts and stuff for phase 1 and 2 to get around to doing all your damage, and people might start dying out, and then. But then if you get to phase 3, then it like blows up in in like 10 seconds or in 15 seconds.
Right,
so
right.
that's why you want to have like a pretty balanced party. That's going to be less and less nuanced as we get more power creep, and with the reboot passive, that's definitely going to be a lot less stringent, a lot more flexible in like who can be in a party and how strong does everyone really need to be. But at least like in the last year or two or something, it was like very meticulous. Like, okay, we need this much damage here, this much there. We need like 2 bursts. We need 3 DPM. We need like 1 support, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like, you know, any 6 Kannas can just team up and just like Voltron up and just have
Right.
double domain going all the time in the whole map, and you can just destroy it and it'll be fine. Yeah, but yeah, so the important thing is that you know how the cleansing works, right? In phase 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure that you
Little
definitely
more.
keep 1 cleanse for the end, so that, you know, when the Kanna like charges domain, typically what the Kanna will do will just like bind it when it's pretty low, and then start charging domain, so that everyone can like finish it while the domain is charging. And then by the time the domain is charged, it'll respawn in the middle of the map. Everyone's in a domain, everyone has their skills up, and then you burst it down. But you want to make sure that it's like there's a cleanse, so that she doesn't go into like a Toho or something near the end. So you want to make sure that it's, and as a Kanna, you want to make sure like, okay, domain is up in like 40 seconds. Are we good to go then? Do you guys have long cooldowns? Do we need to wait a little bit longer, a little bit shorter? Right. That's, you need to double check
Right.
with your
You want to sync it up.
exactly with your big damage dealers. But hopefully you know that beforehand. You know, if you have a more DPM party, then you just domain whenever it's like possible. And if you have a more DPS party and a more like 4-minute cooldown, then you just do every bind and then you domain every other bind. It's usually the 2 main ways.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I said that Lucid is more like a DPS check, right? Especially with the phase 3, and then Will is more a mechanics check. As long as you're doing the right things and you're just not dying to dumb shit, then you can get it down. There's enough time.
Gotcha. Yeah. Seems like maybe normal Will might be more doable than hard Lucid. But
Yeah,
I guess
as long as you have the
we'll see what
levels
numbers-
and the arcane power, then it is more doable. But typically people, people will push for the hard Lucid first, because again, normal Will, that's just those little boss droplets, right? But then with hard Lucid, you'll already have a chance of getting arcane drops, so that's way more alluring to people to push for it. Plus, they'll already have more experience with normal, so they feel more inclined, like, oh, we could definitely do hard as well, because it's a big overlap. The only thing you have to learn extra is phase 3, whereas going fresh into Will, there's a lot of stuff coming at you. The first few runs are like chaos. People died a bunch of random shit. You learn about all the exceptions that aren't really supposed to happen but can still kill you. Those are fun. And then in phase 2, having to use Moonlight before you heal every time, and then with the webs in the side and the tests and the crack and the no crack, and it always goes wrong at least 2 to 3 times before most of the people start getting it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, makes sense.
That's why you wanna get those fail normal Will runs out of the way until it becomes piss easy, and then by that time you can move into hard, and then you could just do a combo Lucid and the hard Will double.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess we were already talking specifically about the quips and when to upgrade a wad and everything, right? Does that all feel like that's more clear now, or is there still like a chunk there with the accessories maybe when it's a bit more?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, my approach has been like, trying to get like at least 2 relevant lines, which for Kanna is pretty generous, right? Because HP and MP are both relevant lines, so it makes it a lot easier for me. But I'm trying to like line up how I want to be using events, right? So I'm like looking ahead to like possible cube sale 5, 10, 15 to really be pushing some stuff, because I mean like most of my stuff is stuck at 15 stars, right? I have a lot of power like incoming.
Yeah, and you
but
have
it's
drop
like-
mezzo on all of the accessories basically, right? You don't have any like specific damage stuff. Oh, you have the rings though.
I have
yeah,
a
you have
damage set of rings basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good foundation. And they're event rings, so those are a Justikar and the Tenebris. Okay, yeah, those are very strong. Yeah.
And then I'll replace like one of the pendants with Sweetwater and Golux, and then the earrings will go to Golux.
Oh, it's a really nice chaos ring then. +4, +3, +3, +5.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
I rolled it super early on too, and I was just like, oh, do I keep this? And
It's like, do I go? No. Like, what are the chances of rolling anything better? Fuck it. Just take it and run.
Hashtag settling, by the way.
No, this is not a settle. This is like the ultimate goal for most people. Most people have like 3 intellect and 5 attack or something, and then maybe even be negative into HP or MP. It's very rare that all of this goes plus in this way.
Yeah.
You could do the maths on it, but I'm pretty sure this is like a 1% or lower chance to roll something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you were saying Gullux? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah. Because the other accessories that I'm missing for drop set or for full damage set are Golux and Sweetwater.
Yep.
Right? So,
Yep. So you're just still making Dineros and still doing Helix as much as possible, and then it'll kind of come when it comes.
Yeah, I have a decent power crystal, right? That's like managed to roll like 18% intellect unique, so I'm using that for now. And I'm like instead saving the Dineros so that when I go for Dominator, just pendant transpose, I have enough for sure, right?
Wait, this one is 15 and 6% HP. That's the one you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Master Craftsman it, and it.
Yeah.
It happens, Sometimes we just send it, and then
Yep. You want to get to legendary? Well, let me give you something good and unique instead, so you have to question everything.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Dominators, you're using this one for damage?
Yeah. It's my current flaming project, though.
Yeah, okay, so you're flaming it, and you're getting it to 16 during Fast and 15, and then if it gets a good flame, you transpose that. Yeah, that's gonna be like together with the whole move. Yeah, with the superior Sweetwater move.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of moving parts in my head, which kind of makes it really confusing, right? Because I need to spend money on flames for that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that at this point. I would do that once everything is 17, and everything, and you're making that move into superior and into Sweetwater. Then I think like spending money on the pendant, on the flames, if it hasn't come yet by that point, that's when I would spend money on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because you want to sit on as much money as possible at this point in case this Star Force event does happen, because you're still, I don't know, superior pieces of, like, how far are you away on that, like coin-wise?
I can buy the second one this next week.
And you haven't
Hopefully I'll get a drop at some point.
Yeah, you haven't got any of the drops. Yep. Take another hit of that copium. It's definitely gonna happen, dude.
I thought, like, getting to 1,400 coins with no drop was supposed to be like, getting up there in terms of like standard deviation. Yeah, I'm not sure what the numbers is. For me, it was the week before I was about to hit like 2 items that I could buy. That's when I got my 2 drops, and then I even got a second belt to drop like 2 days after that. But until then, I was completely dry as well. I was like, oh god, don't tell me I'm gonna have to buy 3 or 4 items on this character. That's gonna be torture. So yeah, I refuse, man. There's no way I'm buying 2, right?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't, but
I'll even buy 1, but otherwise, you need it for backups, dude. Come on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you need the backups. You want to buy the reinforced ring, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess for you, it's not as important because you have the event rings, and those are basically equivalent to 18. To 18 star rings, like going towards 19 even. So you're fine using these as damage rings for a long time. It's like all of CRA being 21 and being full arcane, and all of the Abzo stuff being like, not the Abzo, sorry, the Sweetwater stuff being like 19. That's when you maybe want to start looking at like getting rings past, best the event ring. So, and then by that point, you might even be looking at your WSE going closer to like 2.5 to maybe 3 line. So it's not super near or anything. So.
Okay. Yeah, I had a follow up on like when I should push for Meister rings.
Yeah. I mean, with kind of treasure rings, since you're not actively using them, you can basically just use them as like side project for star forcing. I would probably wait until you have full 17 everything and until the CRA is 21, and like most of the stuff legendary and at least 2 lines, and then as long as the switch into superior and into Sweetwater is looks like it's not imminent, and there is something like a Star Force event around, then it's definitely a good time to like send a bunch of Kanna rings or send some Meister rings and just see what sticks. And if nothing sticks, it's whatever, and you wait for the next event. And if something does stick, then you can look at switching over and maybe re-rolling whichever ring you have that has the lowest rates, and maybe turning that one into a drop or well, probably into an extra drop, right? So you can stack even more drop on the bosses on the end.
Yeah.
That's probably yeah. Then they can still get a second life or a third life at that point. As a drop ring.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. And then that's like around when I would start pushing for like 2-line Mesa drop.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think is ever really necessary, but you can definitely do. I typically just, when I'm going into the process of having so 9 accessories with combination meso and drop, and then the ones that have meso, making alternatives for those that have drop, and making sure that all of those items at least have 1 line of intellect as well. Usually in that whole process, at least, definitely 1, but most of the time at least 2 pieces end up getting double lines as well. And then you start centering the whole set that you're making around that, and that might mean that you're re-rolling even more. And then you might even roll into like a second if you don't have it yet, or then into a third one even. And then usually if you have like 2 or 3 that are double line, I think you're already in such a position that I think actively trying to roll from that more than that, I don't know if the efficiency is there unless you're like farming hundreds of hours on these things.
Right.
Or thousands of hours, I should say. Like hundreds is not even considered that much anymore at this point, but like thousands of hours to make all that money back. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But like that's when you get to that point, it'll make more sense. But it's mostly for the drop, right? The meso's capping out pretty quickly, so for the drop, also by that time, if you get like a large drop familiar, that's another. That's 100% just in that line, so that's usually incredibly juicy.
Right, yeah. I'm looking forward to when I get one. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I revealed one on a Dio from a booster pack one time.
What the heck?
The cactus boss dude, yeah. It's a pure RNG carry. I already had one though, so I was like, oh well, thanks, I guess. Gee, thanks. Yeah.
It's a nice flex, you know.
Yeah, well, now I wish I'd just revealed it on another character, but then it probably would have been a different line, so, yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have really worked out.
RNG is character locked, don't you know?
Yeah. Well, it's instant lock, right? Because people have used, like, scrolls before, like potential scrolls, and had them succeed, and then there was a rollback, and they used the same scroll, and it has failed. Like, it's still, the scroll isn't determined whether it's going to work or not, so I imagine that revealing the potential also just depends on, at the moment, it just rolls. It's not like predetermined what it's going to be.
The server just calculates it fresh.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's determined is what tier the potential is when an item drops. Like if you reveal it, sometimes it can reveal as epic or as unique, even though it looks like it has rare potential unrevealed. That can happen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that at least sounds to me. Well, that's why when you try to use a scroll or like a potential scroll for higher level on an item that has unrevealed potential, it says you can't do it. Because the game you haven't revealed yet what the actual tier is. And people assume that it's rare, because like 99% of the time it is. But there is a small chance for it being epic, and there's even a chance for it being unique on reveal.
Wow, crazy. Okay,
yeah. Cool. It's a small little, totally insignificant and irrelevant piece of information for this session. Really nice flame on the belt, by the way. So yeah, that's also stuff that could go to 17, and that's probably the easiest stuff also, like around the same time as the Kanna rings and everything. That's probably, depending on how long it takes you to get to the superior stuff, that could actually kind of be a blessing, because you can have more money by that time, which means that maybe by that time you will have pushed like the Golden Clover belt already to like to 21, and then you could transfer it right into a 20 and immediately go for a 20-star superior. Sometimes,
I see. Okay.
Yeah, because then you have to redo the potential only once, right? And if people get the drop very early, they might immediately go into it, immediately get it to legendary, and then make the switch later, and then they have to go from epic to legendary again on the belt. So sometimes it can be a blessing in disguise to get your drop a little bit later, because then you can just skip that step in the same way that you're skipping that step with your temporary with your fake weapon. You can kind of skip that step that way. That way you can turn a negative a little bit into a positive. You just push into other directions first, into CRA stuff and everything, and then you can circle back and then not have it be a net negative. That it'll still be a net negative, but not as big of one. The fact that you get the belt a little bit later.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. The clover belt's a 116 flame.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one you want
good.
on like CRA pieces and stuff, right? You wanna get that kind of, yeah, the big. That's a tier 6 HP too, right? And a little bit of luck as well. Yeah. And a 6 all stat. Yeah, that's the stuff you want.
I think it's actually my highest flame, so
Yeah, well, yeah. The only thing would be better if like the dex luck line was like magic attack or something. That's pretty much the only thing that could be better. Maybe like 8 more intellect or something, and then it'd be pretty much perfect. I think so. Yeah, it's coming up on a really juicy flame for sure.
I didn't think about that actually. Yeah, I could push it to 21, right, and then just transfer it straight, and then.
Yeah, because that's the depending on the stage of when you get the drops, that's the next move, right? That's the for the excessive, and for all of the superior stuff, you have this. So basically, after CRA, the next move is then is that stuff, and then specifically the belt, and then typically the earrings. If you want to save the reinforced earrings, right, so that you can fodder those into superior earrings, and then for the pendant, you use extra Dominator pendants. And for the ring, you would use Kanna treasure rings or Meisters, depending on where you have the most of. And in your case, you could push for that a little bit faster because you can just hold on to the event rings, and you could prioritize the superior first for the damage, and then after that, see if you can make another Kanna treasure or another superior, another Meister. I mean, sorry, also into 20 or to 21, and then you can phase out the event ring. That way there's less pressure on needing to make 2 immediately because you still have the event rings to fall back on. For other people, if you blow up at 17 and or you blow up at 19 or something and you have to go back to the event ring, that's a decent setback, but for Kanna, not so much. It's pretty much equivalent, so that's a nice extra safety net you have.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so belts is the easiest one, and then reinforced earrings, depending on how many you have. That's like typically the second one, because Dominator's a little bit harder. If you have a lot of drop rate, also you're gonna get a decent amount of kind of treasure rings, so that one might be up there with a reinforced, maybe even a little bit higher, depending on RNG. That's why it's good to know about all of these, because you're saying like there's a lot of moving parts, but that's why it's good to be aware of all of these moving parts, because you can, after a while, and you have that insight probably growing now, you can see like, okay, this is the amount of backups I want with this amount of money with this kind of event. You see an event coming, you see where your backups are, you're like, okay, these items are just not ready, so you can just toss them aside. These items, these are ready, so I'm going to hyper-focus on these. And that way you can use the RNG in the game to your advantage to be like, okay, RNG was favorable in this one piece, then I'm going to push further there. RNG was disfavorable here, then I'm just going to leave that a little bit longer. And as long as there's like 1 or 2 pieces that are a little bit under upgraded, but all the other ones are fully upgraded, then your account isn't really going to be weak. It's only when you get bad luck at everything, but that should never happen, right? You should always have like at least average luck on some things, and then those are going to kind of stick out, and then you focus there more.
Right. You should average out at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then hopefully the Sweetwater stuff doesn't boom and everything like that. Then maybe you boom like 20 belts or something, and then you only blow up like 1 earring, and then that would be cool. Or you blow up no belts and then 15 pendants.
It happens,
Yeah. It tends to be the items that are harder to replace tend to boom more, or you remember those better at least. Yeah, so
it feels worse, Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. You don't care if like 10 clover belts blow up. That doesn't really break the bank. But if like 3 transposed Sweetwater pendants blow up, that's quite rough. That's like month plus of dailies just gone.
Yeah.
Are you building up your boat, by the way?
Yeah, I have the Dreadnought.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, that's good.
We're chugging along. Yeah, I have like 2,000 dineros.
Yeah, transposing can set you back quite a bit if you're unlucky, but that's a definitely decent buffer to be able to go up to like 19 stars on everything.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool.
Yep. Depending on how risky you want to get, you could also just not safeguard all the way up there. If you feel like you have more than enough backup, right, you can look at the calculator, right, and see what the chances are for booming and see if you want to risk it or not.
I see.
Yeah, typically up to 19, it's pretty low, but, low and high are more subjective terms than they are objective, I think.
Right.
So
gotcha.
for some people, like 10% chance to boom is way too high, never risking it. For other people, it's like, oh, that's an easy clap, and then,
Oh, wow. Actually, I totally missed that the pendant is 400 dineros, actually.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, if you boom 2 or 3 of those, that's a huge setback. The other ones are 250, right? So it's not as crazy, but yeah, the 2 pendants gets you Yeah, 3 of the other ones doesn't even get you 2 pendants, so yeah, it's a bit more risky.
Gotcha. Okay, this was good actually. I think I have a way better like idea of like how I want to prioritize, right? Like before, it was like just like this ball of information.
Yeah, like a cluster of
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm slowly starting to like form like the tiers, right? And then RNG will decide where in that tier I focus. So okay.
Exactly, yeah, and then the event will inform which pieces get prioritized as well. If it's if there is a cubing event, then you push it a little bit harder on some potentials first. Like if you do get the Legion out, and you're like, okay, I could move the Legion pieces into IED. That hurts my damage a little bit, but then I can redo the emblem during a cube sale. That could be a really good idea. If there's a 5, 10, 15 ounce, you're pretty much just sending up your Abzo and getting your CRA and maybe getting some of the other pieces as well, or like the accessories up there, the Dominator to 16, so that all of that stuff is ready. And then you know that all of the money you make from then on out is either going into Arcane, but you're gated by the clears on the boss, so that's going to be far away, or it's going to just directly go into more potentials and speeding the stuff up, or just building up even more money for the next 30%, so then you can go super hard on well, not 30%, sorry, 5 and 15, right? Because that's mainly what you're looking at. You're not really looking for 30% off at all anymore.
Even for recovering from booms.
Yeah, maybe for recovering from a boom. Yeah, if you end up 5 to 15, you end up with some 12 stars, and then you use the 30% off to get it back up to 15 to prep for the next one. But that's like a, yeah, that's like a formality at that point. That's not really that important.
Would you ever work on like multiple like sets at a time, right? Like, would I ever have like 2 reinforced earrings like going at a time, just so that way?
I've seen people do that. That was mainly when Star Forcing took so long, and they wanted to make sure that they got through the process faster. Yeah, I can you get rid of traces if they're in your inventory? Can you just drop those? Some people also like to collect traces, have like an inventory full of traces so you can see how many they've boomed in the past. I don't know if that's what you want to do. Then go for it. I usually already find that my inventory fills up just fine without doing that, but
yeah, I was. It's kind of an interesting question on like efficiency.
Yeah, you could.
Right?
Yeah, I haven't done the numbers on that. It's possible that it's more efficient. It's possible.
I guess it's more of like a not wanting to wait for a 30% after, right? So that way, like, I have 3 earrings ready to go at a 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, and going back from 12 to 15 during a 5, 10, 15 is also not great. But in time, it should take just as long as during a 30% off. But you want to spend that time during a 5. I think it's more a matter of how many items you're going to be upgrading and how much money you have. If you're gonna sit on 200 bill and you want to get your whole account to 21, you're not gonna sit around and doing 10 to 15. If that takes 20 minutes per item and you have to do that 20 times, then you're spending like 6.5 hours just trying to get back up to 15, right? So then I can totally see it, and then it'll definitely be way more efficient. But if you're on a lower budget and you're not trying to go crazy, you're just doing 1 or 2 items, then I think it's probably fine to just hold and just go on a 5, 10, 15.
Okay,
that's probably
cool.
Yeah. That's how I would evaluate that.
That makes sense.
Okay. Any pieces left? Any upgrades left? Will you have any questions about?
I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
Is there a fairy heart in the upcoming event?
I don't know. There was one in in one of the events, and I stopped playing halfway through it, and it was pretty sad actually. But I was also playing during OneDroid, and I just didn't do it because I didn't understand the importance of it at the time.
Oh, people say that there is one, yeah. So that might be something that's pretty valuable to buy then, because you're the Lydium heart now, which comparatively is very weak, right?
That's super weak.
Yeah, but there's usually 1 per account, so you'll have to choose if you want to get it on the Hoyoung or in this one.
Yeah.
It's usually like 2 or 3 bill, which, to some people is a lot of money, but once you get established is pretty doable.
Yeah, now that I've finally got into professions, I was putting it off for forever. I have wealth potions, and so now I'm actually grinding.
Yeah, those help a lot.
Is the best way to farm them out literally just going into like the training fields?
I like to just harvest all of the big flowers I see on any character, and then that keeps me having enough because I don't grind and farm that much, so that's okay coverage for me. What other people do is the Mushroom Shrine quests, where you can build friendship with the NPCs, and then they can give you like from a selective random rewards, and then they give those pouches. And there's certain content that has those pouches as well, like sometimes in the Root Abyss shops at the end of the boss fight. And the Gollux shop on the top right has one bag I think that you can buy per week, and then sometimes the event, the NPC at the end also has them. So all of those combined together can, give you quite some coverage. But depending on how you play, you might want to use some resource over another.
Gotcha. Okay. I feel like I didn't get like nearly any like the juniper berries.
Yeah, they're exceedingly rare. It's definitely weighted towards the lower levels, so it's pretty tricky. Yeah. Going into the field to harvest like the individual flowers to get like a few juniper berry seeds, that feels like torture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I just sucked it up one weekend and did like 3 characters.
Yeah.
So
if I need to get a rose clipping, I usually do. I do that so I can get some junipers while I'm getting the rose clipping. But yeah, that's a pretty small source of them. Yeah, it's usually like the gold flowers are the best because they can drop the straight up oils up to like 4 per flower. So if you get a little bit lucky on those, then that can give you a lot of them. You know.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
I guess like while we're on the topic, right? Like the minerals and ores from stuff, like do I need to keep all of these?
A lot of stuff I don't hold on to. So depending on where you want to go, if you want to build up to Meister, you typically want to keep the emeralds and the Dex crystals. And everything else that's green or lower, you can get rid of. Unless Diamond and Aquamarines are lower. Those you also want to keep. But I think Dex and... I think Green is level 4. And I think Diamond and Aquamarine is level 6, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know 100%. Let me check. Because you can see like the level when you hover over it, right? Well, not always, but for some you can. Oh, Dex is level 5, sorry. Yeah, so everything that's also level 5 or lower... Like all the yellow stuff. Oh wait, gold is actually level 6. Oh my god, I've got my levels all mixed up. Wait, what is diamond then? Is it level 8? Oh, it's level 7. Jesus, okay. So like I keep diamond and aquamarine because it's very easy to just power level smithing through them. Because you can just make arrows. So any character that needs to make a shield later on, you just throw a bunch of diamonds or aquamarines at it. You just power make arrows, and then within one day you have level 7. Yeah, that's very easy to. And then the second day you can make your shield basically. The higher level ones you might need at some point, so usually keep those. But like all the yellow ones, like gold and topaz, I don't use that for anything ever. You can just always get rid of that. And then the mithril you can get rid of. The red and the dark, you keep those to craft rings as well to get up to Meister. And then all the lower stuff like like silver and like opal and all that stuff, that's all just garbage. Yeah, get rid of all of that. And bronze and all of that. That should free up quite some room. But also in the new update, we should be getting... I don't know if it's in the update or right after. It might be right after that they're adding...
the bags.
Yeah, they're adding the bags to the shops as well. So that should make inventory space management a whole lot easier as well. You can just have one dedicated mule that you just throw everything onto, and then if you need to make anything, you go check how much you have.
Right.
Yep.
Is that going to stack with the craftable bags, or like can you have one of each? Or?
Oh, someone said save opal ores for gifting to Tengu. Oh, that might be a specific thing that they're looking for. I did when I was doing Yorozu, because the characters want like different items, and if you just gift them, you can keep up their fullness quite easily without having to do any special quests or anything. So that's like could be like a cheap way of how big will the bags be? There will actually be 20 slot bags, which is pretty massive. The soul bag will also be 20 slots, which is weird, which is like half of the event ones. But then the bags will be 20, whereas the regular ones that you craft even at the highest level, I think give 12. So compared to that, they're actually really big.
Wow. Wait, there's no way we can buy multiple, though, right?
Oh yeah, you can just buy multiple, as many as you want. Yeah.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah, it's such a big. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a big change as well. Yeah.
What the heck?
21s.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Those are basically the highest ones I think you can get from Gachapon, or can you get like crazy 40 slot bags from Gachapon? I think 20 is the highest, right? 20 slot material bags, and then the production bags as well, that you can keep all the monster crystals and the powders and stuff in. Gacha's 20 slot, yeah. So it's like the gacha level basically. I mean, they're gonna cost some money. You definitely don't want to be like, oh, I'm just gonna buy all the bags on all the characters, because you'll like lose billions instantly.
Right.
If you have a lot of characters. So you do want to make sure you can get like one bag on the characters that you actually play quite a bit, and that'll make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. Holy moly.
Yeah. Some events.
Cool.
Coin bag slots were 8 slot, with the newest KMS Tespia having 20 slot. Oh wow, 20 slot coin bag. That's pretty big. For all those old event coins that are still accumulating in the account, yeah. So glad they moved on to just virtual currency basically for the more recent events. Because inventories were filling up quite nicely. Okay, I think we got through everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Any last questions? Any shoutouts?
Shout out to the guild that took my Hoyoung, even though it was technically not a main, but it's kind of a main, haha.
Oh, they did it.
But,
Yes, nice.
you know,
Mains only,
yeah,
and you're like,
yeah, close enough.
close enough. Yeah, can I get in there?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
I do the arcane dailies on it, you know. Come on, there's no difference, right?
You play every day, yeah, daily, right? Main, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. I just maybe, I'm not doing flag race.
Well, yeah, that's really gonna change the definition of like what is a main, because like doing flag race specifically for your guild and guild PQ specifically for your guild, those are important for guild skills. But now with the changes, you're gonna be able to do that on any character. So people, I think, will be way less stringent on who they let in. The main thing now will be, do we want a guild where we have like 120 slots filled, but every time you log in, there's only like 6 people on at the same time? Because that's a little bit annoying. But when it comes to, I think they will let a whole bunch of people in who are like, hey, I just need like guild skills, but I'm not gonna put like 12 mules in my main guild. I'm gonna spread them out a little bit, and I'll definitely roll guild PQ and do flag race like once a week to get like a record in. Then I think people will be way more willing to let in some people's mules as long as they do that. And we'll have better tools to check if people actually did that. We can like check what was someone's record last week, and then that'll help as well to see like, okay, who's definitely doing nothing and it's hardcore freeloading and not even doing the bare minimum, and who's actually like contributing. So that's cool.
Right, gotcha.
Also, yeah.
Oh, actually, being a flag race has actually just reminded me. So the top right, the springboard, where you like have to like you take the launch pad and you like jump on the gap thing. I never go high enough. Am I like doing something wrong there, or is there a trick?
You're not going high enough. Yeah, well, you have to hit it at the right spot. You probably either jumping too early into it or too far into it. I thought I had it a few times, and I was like, oh, cool, I could do it now. And then the next time I do exactly the same, and then I land somewhere else. And it's like, okay, this is just unreliable for me somehow. So I just skip it now, and I just go left instead, and I don't even try to go to the right. As long as I get skips on the S turn, and as long as I don't totally mess up, I can technically still get top 5. But there's like a lot of pressure on getting jumps and then getting the S turn, because usually a jump drops there on the left side as well, next to on the right side of the fire. So that can help you skip. But yeah, otherwise, hopefully just clear within the time limit, and then because I'd rather always clear within the time limit and get 20 points. But again, like next week, that's probably all changing, and it's more going to be like on what is your fastest run in the week. So you just do like a few attempts until you actually hit those skips, and then then that's the run that counts for that week.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I know I'm not like crazy or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ping for me, but I feel like if I do the same thing, sometimes I get completely different outcomes, and then when I try to do completely different things, sometimes I get exactly the same outcomes. I don't know if the 200 ping is just making it register when I hit it just a little bit different, and if that little bit is enough to send me careening in a completely different direction. And then yeah, if you do that one time, you're basically giving up at least like 6 rank slots. So yeah, feels a little bit high risk.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, good luck with everything.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate it.
I'll see you around.
Good
Yeah,
luck
no
on
problem.
Black Range.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's gonna be right after this. So hopefully we have a better phase 1 because that last one was a was a doozy. But yeah,
Time's a charm, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we'll see if it was Rage that did it. Rage does a little bit of damage reflect, so maybe that caused the aggro. We'll see if that makes a difference. But yeah, thanks and good luck, and I'll see you around.
Yep.
All right.
Later, dude.
Have a good one. Bye. Okay, cool. All right, we got, oh my god, exactly 1:30. It means you guys have 30 minutes left on your totem. Good luck on the last 30 minutes. Coupons, guys. 30-minute coupons. 30-minute coupons. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, kind of reassessing. And yeah, it can, a lot of times it can look like everything, like damage is coming from a lot of different directions, and it's just one ball of progress. And it's really hard to pick out like which one has a priority where. And as long as you have the big picture, hopefully this helped some of you guys as well regain the vision on the big picture, like where are you eventually going, what are the easy upgrades you can make, what are just the harder upgrades, and what determines whether it's easy or hard, right? Having a lot of backups, having holding the item for a long time, the specific upgrade giving you a lot of damage, right? Those are things that determine whether your upgrade is a high priority or a lower priority. And if something is a lower priority, it's fine to just leave it for now and then just save more money and then come back next event. Because then if you get more backups, it can become higher priority and then you can send, right? And the main thing also, like the crit rate and the IED, that's your foundation. Always make sure that you have the crit rate and the IED, that you have a path set out for that. How much IED do you have now? What are the sources I can still get? And when I get those, how am I going to respond to that? Is it just extra IED that I'm going to cake on and that's going to give me more damage? That can be fine. Is it going to allow me to reroll something? Move stats in the hyper stats? Move Legion grid? That's something that you just, you know, you want to think about, have a plan for, and then once you have that plan, you can let that go, right? That'll come and be like, oh yes, I switch into superior. Oh, that gives me more IED. Boom, and then it comes into play. But it's not constantly something that has to like haunt your mind, like, oh, when do I switch? When do I switch? Right? So hopefully you can set a plan out for a few of the specific things. Then you can clear that from your mind. It doesn't have to be like always hanging there. And if something doesn't get drops, that's annoying. But the good part about that is you don't have to worry about it. So you can also let that go and focus on where you get the drops and we have the backups. So as always, if you would like one of these sessions for yourself as well, make sure you leave a comment in the YouTube section saying so, and I will draw 2 winners at the end of this month as well who will get a free session with me. If you don't want to wait, you can also do a paid session, or you can do a session for channel points if you're a subscriber on my Twitch channel. Links for all of that and information are in the description down below. And if you would like to join my guild, or you have data for me that helps me keep my commands up to speed. Again, we didn't really go into the commands on this one because this was a recurring session, and you know, this person has been in my chat for quite a bit and has looked at all the things. I try to keep information on everything, basically, on everything that's important, or anything that people request in the game. I keep it in commands because it's easier to keep up to date and to keep a database of, rather than doing everything through YouTube videos. So I don't make quite as many YouTube videos as I could. So yeah, check the channel out, check the list, check the commands, and you can find pretty much everything you need there. I stream every day, so we gladly have you swing by and pay us a visit, and you know, you can get some information from it in return. And I will see you guys then, or I will see you on the next one. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed MapleFest, if you saw it. And yeah, we got a big update coming next week, so expect some information on that coming soon. Hopefully we get the patch notes by Tuesday, but it should be coming a lot in the on-air update / live update. I don't know, I saw both names floating around for GMS, but we should be getting some big information on that soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.